Hey, how we doing, guys?
Morning, everybody.
Joe here.
Kevin.
So we got 2 episodes left. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Yeah,
3, I guess, but 2 for the main story.
right.
Uh,
We're not. It's kind of cool because I feel like we're not really near a complete resolution yet. So I feel like there's
I know.
a lot to do in the last two episods
I was just thinking
to,
that way
to kind of get to the end of the story, right?
Yeah, I was literally thinking that. I was like, how the heck are they going to wrap this up in 2 episodes?
Right.
I mean, I guess they're 45-minute episodes, so I mean, we got about 2 hours of the show left.
Yeah, it's
They could do it. I just, it's just kind of hard. I don't know which way they're going to head with this.
it may come down to like the last 5 minutes of the last episode. Rebecca's like, "Here's my life decision." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be single. I'm going to date this guy. I'm not dating any of you, but I'm doing something else. I'm moving to New York. I'm getting back into law. It could be any number of
Well,
things in these last two episodes.
assuming we're getting the dates this episode, right? We got 3
Yeah,
dates.
yeah. And what was everyone's thought on that? I didn't look at the Patreon comments as far as because I thought it was weird that these guys came up with this plan because um I don't know, it felt like they kind of are forcing Rebecca's hand to
Yeah.
choose one of them when
Yeah.
she's not dating any of them. Like if she was like casually dating all three,
Sure.
it's okay to do an ultimatum, right? Like, hey, look, you're kind of dating all of us. We all actually in a relationship. You need to make a decision, and
Yeah, like 5
and
episodes
we'll
ago.
and we'll bow out. Right? 5 episodes ago,
Yeah,
right?
the hospital situation.
Now that she's single, that they're saying like go on a date with all of us and then pick.
Yeah.
That feels a little more gross to me.
It does. And so the consensus, there's only been a handful of people that have like really spoke to that.
Sure.
There was one really good comment the other night I read. They feel like it kind of negates everything the show was setting up in the season.
Sure.
Which I get.
Right. Yeah.
It kind of does feel like it's like, well, let's throw that out the window.
Right.
But we don't know the end game yet.
That's true.
I think this person does. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Regardless, thank you for not spoiling the show.
Sure.
I really appreciate that.
Right. And I have absolute faith in this in the show to stick the landing anyway. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it's going to we're going to be like, oh, everything they talked about with the ridiculousness of our rom-com culture in America, when our dumb expectations of relationships being the be all and end all of fixing our lives, and then all of a sudden to end the show with him doing exactly that.
Sure.
I don't see that happening. There's going to be caveats to it.
See, I don't want them to end the show like that, obviously.
Right. Sure.
But I am an enjoyer of the romance, and
of course,
and, like,
right.
the fake rom-com. So I'm okay with it happening in this episode. The 3-date thing in real life, probably not a good idea.
Seems weird to me.
And for Rebecca, not a good idea. But as an enjoyer of the show, I want to see it.
Sure. And that's not to say that Rebecca shouldn't be with somebody at the end of the show. It is perfectly normal and healthy. Right. Yeah, exactly. As a person to say, I want to be in a relationship. I would say a good chunk of the world says that. Yeah, it's like I want a boyfriend, I want a girlfriend, I want whatever on whatever spectrum you want. I want this type of interaction romantically with another person or people.
Everybody's entitled to their happiness.
Exactly, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But it's not unfair for her to want that, right? No. And so if the show does end up with her with somebody, that's her journey, and that's okay as long as it comes from a healthy place. Unlike where, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
If it comes from a healthy place, great. The only thing I think that would suck is if it ended on she ends up in a relationship and it still feels like it's you're filling this void in my soul that I couldn't fill myself.
Yeah.
Stopgap thing, which was kind of what the show's been cautioning us against all the way through.
I kind of wish we had more episodes this season to kind of.
I know, right?
It's kind of weird that they chose to do what they did this season.
Sure.
Also, people are kind of surprised that we love Trent so much.
Trent.
We don't like. We're not saying he should be with Rebecca.
No.
I just think I think it's hilarious.
I think the character is written to be like a really, really creepy Stepford husband version of Rebecca.
Yeah.
Right. I think that he's there to be the male version of Rebecca.
I love the turtleneck. I love the smiles.
He's awful, but I mean, to be fair, guys, they gave him great lines. Hilarious line, right?
He was raised by coyotes, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Season 3 is when it really kicked him over.
He's designed to be comic relief. The actor crushes it. I mean, we don't like Pookie
right?
as a sense of like this guy really should have a happy ending. He's a monster.
He's had some of the funniest moments in the show,
but he's had really funny moments, right?
Was it season 2 when he's like, "I just lost my V card" or whatever?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that was great.
It was a lot of fun. Obviously, he's been in the show all along to be kind of the male version of Rebecca.
Yeah, to the extreme. He's the extreme end of who she could end up being.
Sure. Well, I guess she kind of becomes.
Him,
I mean, she was there. Yeah. I think it's there to kind of highlight the differences of they both have the same thing, but there's nothing cute or quirky about his.
Yeah.
I think because he's a man and inherently more, as we saw, more physically threatening.
Oh yeah.
He's more dangerous than Rebecca. He is like Rebecca's dangerous. Rebecca is capable of doing horrible things, obviously, and was right. But I think like if she was, her in that same mindset with Josh, I don't think any of us ever really had a sense that he could snap, she could snap, and do physical harm to Josh.
None of the guys really are violent,
and I think that's a really good thing because like. You know how our world we live in. Girls will say, girls are uncomfortable with guys like wolf whistling them grossly on the street.
Yeah.
And guys are like, well, if a girl did that to me, I wouldn't mind. And I'm like, there's a difference.
Yeah.
Because the girl is wondering if this guy's going to kill me.
Yeah.
The guy that a smaller woman, wolf calls on the street, he's not thinking that. He's thinking she thinks I'm hot. Things could go my way. It's not the same thing. So when people
guys are idiots.
Most guys are idiots, right? But this idea,
it's not the same thing,
right? But I mean, this idea that Rebecca being where she is psychologically and Trent being in the same place, they aren't the same.
No,
because I mean, remember Trent didn't he lift a wall out of a bathroom to help Paula get out in one of the train wreck episodes?
Was that him?
I think so. Like the walls collapse and he comes and lifts the wall up and then carries her out.
Yeah,
he is physically imposing.
He's a big guy.
Which makes him an actual danger to Rebecca with his level of stalking, right?
The level of stalking, the physicality, and not to mention how far he'll go.
Exactly right.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting juxtaposition of they're the same person, but the male version does seem much more dangerous than the female version somehow.
The juxtaposition between her and all the guys is interesting.
It is.
Yeah. All right.
Because we've certainly seen very unhealthy behavior from Josh and Nathaniel this season as well. They have some stuff to cope with.
A little bit from Greg,
a little, but I feel like Greg's in a decent place.
Yeah. Someone pointed out White Josh's insecurities too. We can go to that at the very end.
Sure.
All right, well, guys, if you're watching us on YouTube for the first time, welcome to our channel. If you don't mind hitting the like button for us, please leave us a comment down below and hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the new content we've coming your way.
Yeah, I'd like to see a full reaction to this and everything else we've watched or are watching. Please check out the link in the description below to our Patreon page. If you're seeing this on YouTube for the first time, we're done with the show by now on Patreon.
Yeah, we're doing episode 18 over there.
Yeah, so if you'd like to, you can jump and finish the show over there on our Patreon page. You'll need to sync and watch along with us on your own streaming service or device. We're also watching 30 Rock as a Patreon exclusive, and I think we've settled right when we're done with in a couple weeks with Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. We're absolutely going to roll right into The Good Place.
Yeah. Don't tell us anything about it. We don't know anything.
We're going to try because it turns out The Good Place is an NBC show.
Oh,
I didn't know that, and we've had real problems.
Peacock or anything?
Well,
yeah.
It's an NBC property. Okay. And we are 0 for 2 on NBC properties.
For some reason, they don't let us show it on YouTube.
Right.
We'll give it a shot.
We'll give it a shot, but they block every time we try to do. Both times we've tried to do Superstore and 30 Rock both got shut down on YouTube.
And it'd be kind of lame if we couldn't share it to YouTube as well. So
we need a show that we can obviously share on YouTube. Yeah. We don't need another exclusive on Patreon because we have 30 Rock for that.
Yeah.
At any rate, we'll go ahead and jump in here. What a good reveal there.
Yeah. Oh, God. I'm sorry to violate your boundaries and your morning speed walk, but it's an emergency. Well, they proposed that I go on a final date with each of them, like The Bachelor, and then I choose, like The Bachelor.
Here you go.
And life should not be like The Bachelor.
It's insane.
Go into it with clear expectations. Might be helpful to settle on how you feel.
Really? Wow.
I don't think there's any big harm in it.
Oh, good, because I already told them I'd do it anyway, and I gotta make a decision by next Thursday.
I think there needs to be a spending limit.
Hold on. Not fair.
That's a great idea. It's not
fair. Because Nathaniel has all the money. Yeah. That's not fair to Nathaniel, though, because that's outside of his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps their shirts on.
What? No way. No. What is the thing you do that's, like, good?
I do nothing. That's my special charm.
No.
I mean, I kind of agree.
It's
been a while.
Sorry, I can't do
Not about
girl
this season, I don't think.
My new job, I actually have to show up to work. I also can't drive carpool, watch TV, or take a bath during the day.
I'm glad you're here because we need to discuss the real-life dating show unfolding in front of us, Rebecca's 3 dates. Yeah. So, Het, who do you think she'll pick? Okay, so... Josh!
I don't think it's Josh.
And Josh have
I don't think so
such
either,
an
but I think she
incredible
got close to Josh.
history.
I think
And
Heather
he's so
got close
evolved
to
now.
Nathaniel.
It is
Yeah.
Team Josh.
It's gotta be Nathaniel.
See, you're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
I
Yeah.
know. I used to think she was meant to be with Greg, but then Nathaniel became an actual decent person. Greg has also
Okay, she's
changed
known
a
Greg
ton.
forever,
He's
yeah.
practically a completely different actor now. And of course, I'm saying
God.
actor in the political and legal sense. Are we actually gambling on our friend's
Yeah,
wedding?
this got
I mean,
gross
it
in a
is
hurry,
happening,
didn't it?
whether
Yeah.
we do it or not. I've spent
It's a
so
lot of
much
money.
time and energy on Rebecca's drama. The least I can do is make money off of it.
Been a while since a
has.
White Josh song. Yeah.
Directed this. This is great.
Yeah, this was wonderful. That was quite a number.
As the dates unfold and we get more information and new bets come in, Kevin will input the data and the odds will be recalculated on the computer. It means that Greg is an underdog, and that pays out more.
That's great. So then Greg's good. Okay, great.
Oh, that's
You
that's
know
way
that
gross.
Josh and
Yeah.
Nathaniel are gonna pull out all the stops on these dates. They're gonna get things like hot air balloons and sailboats.
Everybody.
Yeah,
You gotta think of something great.
that's where we're different.
I really
Right,
don't
yeah.
think I need to. And that's not me being cocky. That's just me knowing in my heart when I'm right for someone.
Salmon for 60?
Oh my God, no.
Hey, Paula, is everything
Put
okay?
that on the list.
I was just trying to,
No, you don't understand. I gotta, yeah, no.
Cater. He can cater it.
It's not like she doesn't like me. Though we have had our ups and downs.
You ready?
Yeah.
And then haven't these guys kind of messed up and like put Rebecca kind of on a pedestal that isn't really fair to her
They
or
have.
them too, you know?
They definitely put on a pistol.
I mean, I feel like they're doing their own unrealistic expectations of romance with her.
What are the odds it is one of these guys and it ends like The Graduate?
Oh, right. Yeah, now what?
Yeah, exactly.
It's summer camp.
Oh, that's good.
That is
That
good.
is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so watch them all three nail the dates. Then what, you know?
They're going to. I
Yeah.
think they're going to.
Bring us full circle, you know? Bex, there's always been this feeling of destiny about me and you.
That's so sick.
I wanted to make sure everything in our universe was exactly where it should be.
And it's
That was
really
fun.
sweet and thoughtful, but this idea of
And
we're going to be
knowing
together
which
because
one
it's
the North
destiny
Star
is
can
not
always
what this
find
show's
the way
about,
back
you
home.
know?
Oh,
This is really sweet.
Saw them waking up in each other's arms through a very tiny window in a tent.
She says it was perfect.
This is such a violation of privacy and trust.
I know.
Josh Chan is an elite! Said I needed to do something to get into this contest, so this is what I'm doing.
Is that salmon?
Winning over
looks like
Rebecca's
salmon,
best
yeah.
friend.
Here, I just wanted to save the day for a working mom so you don't disappoint your son again.
Oh, dear.
No!
You overheard me having a problem, so you thought you'd swoop in and help get in my good graces, so I'll put in a word in with Rebecca.
Oh, she's
Yes.
good. You're good.
You have a lot of tough competition, so I really hope that you have a better plan than bringing me fish.
Yes.
Oh, it's okay. You and Nathaniel have a good time. Well, like, an okay time. A fine time.
No one gets to
I thought this would
complain
be
to her.
simple, but
Their plan. Don't complain to her about it.
it's not.
It is kind of weird that he lives there. He's the first
Right.
one, you know?
It's the simple fact that you even brought it up puts undue pressure on her, you
Yeah.
know? Then again, whoever thought that this was going to be like, this will be the simple solution was
Yeah.
kidding themselves.
I-
There's a lot to like about all three of them. That's the fun of it.
Yeah.
It's so thoughtful.
Why don't we just forget everything else and just try to enjoy this? You know? I found the perfect spot to sit right above the Greek Theater and listen to a concert for free.
That's a
Tonight
sick
is-
idea.
Let's dance. Dance with me.
Oh, you want to stand up and dance? Oh my God. All right.
Yeah, Nathaniel, don't get cold feet now.
think we're meant to be together.
Everybody's gonna say that. Everybody's gonna say
And I think that's the
And if
lesson.
you
Is
pick
nobody's
me-
meant to be together. Yeah.
Wow, it says it was heaven.
Papa's got a winner!
And Mama's got a winner!
I love a girl and need to show her how much.
Our standard $50 package. You got it.
I'm so glad he's getting a
So
song.
glad to.
Yeah.
I'm stalking you again. We've established this. It's very problematic
We've
behavior, and we should
established
discuss
this.
it the next time I'm in therapy. But listen, I need some help. I cannot go on yet another romantic, and perfect date.
Then don't.
This was one of the best ones too.
Yeah. I feel like that there's the authenticity that's not happening on these dates. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, well, it's like the show you put on for your boss when your boss comes into wherever you work, you know?
The Josh thing, kind of though.
Sure.
His was the most sincere. Nathaniel likes her, so he'll try, you know, but that's not
Sure.
him, you know.
For sure.
They never showed up for their balloon ride.
What? No.
Well, how's your date?
Honestly, really good. Yours?
Couldn't have gone any better.
I've been dreading this whole thing. Not being with you, that part I love. Just the date I had planned, it's so not me.
All these dates, it's just so exhausting. It's so much pressure.
Right.
Yeah.
So this date is off.
It is.
Yeah.
This is what a relationship more
Everything
looks
is
like.
camera, yeah.
But you're right. It's not the memory lane. It's not the mountaintops.
This is the most realistic relationship they've ever seen in my life.
Right. Yeah.
You're the love of my life.
Uh-huh.
You know that, right?
I love the fact that he's the only one who said it. You know,
Love that shot.
I did too. That's that pull out. Wow,
Dang it.
there's a lot to talk.
Okay, so what I was saying earlier about White Josh, they
Yeah.
pointed out that we seemingly think he's like the most normal one and healthy one in the show, but he does enable a lot of things,
Absolutely.
and he does have his own set of issues.
Sure. We didn't really see them until it was getting to the end of his relationship with Daryl.
Yep.
And that's when like the cracks started to show a little bit. Not bad. Like it's not like, oh my god, Josh is a monster.
Yeah, and he's not innocent from all what everybody else is doing either.
Right. He's not. He's absolutely not innocent. I still think that he was probably the healthiest person just in terms of perspective.
Sure.
Especially when like looking at Rebecca.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, you know.
Come on, what's happening?
Right. But yeah, I like the fact that Josh is a little more White Josh is a little more humanized in that nobody's perfect.
No,
you know.
nobody's perfect.
And so we got to see that we got to
Every
see the
character
cracks
has
a
a
little
flaw.
bit. Yeah.
Which is a good thing. I like
Yeah,
every character has some
absolutely.
kind of flaw. All three great dates. Like, I mean, of course they're going to be. You know,
Yeah.
they're not going to. The show's not making this easy. That's for sure.
No, but I do think that the normalcy of the third one, I feel like that's the most real and therefore more important thing. It's like it's not can one of these guys plan a perfect romantic night, because that's the Bachelor crap, right? That we're basically doing.
Yeah.
It's more like, can I sit and talk with you in our normal mundane world? Do we have a connection beyond, you know, me pursuing you in these grand gestures of trying to win you over?
Realistically, it is probably Greg then.
In what was presented, yes.
Realistically.
Again, it would not hurt me at all if the answer is I'm going to be by myself and work on myself for a while and wait and not push, because we talked about the pressure a lot in this, right? She did.
Mm-hmm.
Just because she goes on these 3 days doesn't mean she has to pick one and date.
That's
be in a relationship with one of them at the end of this. You know,
she probably won't. Realistically,
yeah.
If the show is making a definitive answer, though,
if the show's making a definitive answer on one of these guys, right?
I don't know. I just don't. I mean, I really don't. I think maybe Greg makes the most sense.
Yeah, from the outside looking in, again, if we're playing voyeurs ourselves, Greg makes the most sense. But
we don't know if the show's going to do that.
I would not be surprised at all if it gets to the end and she's just like, you know what? Maybe I'll date one of you down the road. Maybe I won't. But right now, I don't feel like I need to be pressured into dating any of them.
I like if they leave it ambiguous.
I do too. I would too.
Maybe down the road, one of you guys, we can do this again in 5 years.
Right. We can still be. We can be friends, and I mean, most people know, right? Like a lot of our best romantic relationships grow out of friendships first, right? People you work with or go to school with or, you know, hang out with on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, things kind of go from there over time.
Yeah.
I don't think that it'd be a wrong answer to be like, I'm just going to hang out with you guys as friends, strictly as friends. If we can do friend things. And if something happens after that, great.
The thing is with Rebecca and Greg is they can't be friends. We've seen it so many times.
I don't think she and Nathaniel, we've seen them be friends either.
Yeah, the only one's Josh.
Right. The only one that she's successfully just been friends with is Josh. And that's just since he's been living with her.
Yeah.
And obviously that didn't last, you know?
Last long at all. I guess, okay, I was going to say they were friends in the beginning.
Right.
Like she was obviously stalking him, you know, so that was one thing.
Yeah, it was definitely not friendship. Like the first time she saw him, it was right back to, I need to get that 16-year-old me back into that relationship and my life will be fixed. It was never They were never friends.
And that's what kicked off the whole show, though.
Right.
It's such a different show now.
Yeah, when you look back on where she was then and now, it's again, this fourth season has been very rewarding for the payoff of how Rebecca's grown, and the other characters have.
Yeah.
Josh isn't nearly as aloof and selfish as he was when the show started. Yeah, absolutely.
And I love the first season so much. It was such a great first season.
It was a lot of fun.
I miss Santino.
I do too.
But no, as the show went on, obviously we wouldn't have had Nathaniel if it wasn't for Santino leaving.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, he was kind of the replacement, wasn't he?
He really.
It wasn't that long after, right?
He was like successful Greg, without the alcoholism. But
right.
But I back to Nathaniel. I like seeing him with the two guys. I like it when him and Josh hang out, and I really love it when him and Greg had their moment. They had their episode.
Right.
That was a great episode.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. I get it. I think you have to separate the characters up. But the show knows they all have great chemistry.
Right.
That's how we got the hospital episode with the sick boy.
Yeah.
Sick boy.
Yeah.
So the three of them in the hospital.
Cough boy, I think.
Was it Cough Boy?
I thought it was Cough Boy. It might have been Sick Boy, but I thought it was Cough Boy.
It might have been Cough Boy, actually. I think
because he was running coughing on everybody.
It was so great.
It was pretty awesome.
But I did like that episode because the three of the guys are just hanging out in there,
Right.
I don't know. All these actors have great chemistry with one another. I don't think anybody is misplaced in the show.
Sure, and I think it's good to see them do that because it's a good reminder that not only are they putting a lot of pressure on Rebecca to like pick one to be in a relationship with, but they're putting a lot of pressure on themselves.
They are
to make it work too. And you don't really see that when they're with Rebecca, other than the fact that they are swinging for the fences. But when they're talking to each other, you can be like, man, if it wasn't for this complicating factor, these guys could be just nice friends. They could be. All three of them could just be friends,
and they're also different.
Right, completely.
One's a karate master. One owns an Italian restaurant. One's a lawyer.
Yeah, exactly.
A bad joke for a bar.
Seriously, yeah, they're very different people, especially now. Like Josh and Greg were pretty similar guys to start the show. They were just local friends that hung out forever, went to school together, graduated together. But they've definitely evolved into completely different people and grown different directions.
Yeah.
Also, a shout out to the "Let's Bet on Love" song.
I thought it was fantastic.
It was great. It was shot really well. It was a complicated song for the performers as far as the singing, the dancing. You got so many of the supporting cast together for it.
Yeah.
It was nice as we get to the end of the show to be like you said, there were people in that dance or like characters that we hadn't really seen much of this season.
Exactly, Sunil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as we've been winding down the show, I've been thinking about my top 5 of favorite songs for the show, and I think the one thing hasn't changed is obviously "I Go to the Zoo."
"I Go to the Zoo" is great.
That's number 1. And
I really like
I
that song
wouldn't be
a lot.
surprised if this one shows up in my top 5 because I love the
scale of it, really.
Scale.
Yeah.
Not that the words weren't funny because they were, but it kind of broke past it just being funny. I think the production of it was actually wonderful.
It kind of reminded me of the opening credit sequence, the first not the credit sequence, but the first time Rebecca sings in episode 1, where she moves from New York to California and the big West Covina song.
Yep.
It was huge. It was grand in scale. It felt like an old style, Broadway musical number or Hollywood music number, right? Staging a Rodgers and Hammerstein play, a little bit. And I do not remember who wrote Guys and Dolls.
Oh, it was
I don't know. Sorry.
Oh my God!
Blanking
on
out.
the tip of my tongue, and I can't.
I was in it in college once, and I cannot remember.
I was a theater major very briefly, and we talked about it. And I can't freaking remember it, but yeah, I'll Google it later on.
Right.
Over the next
and we'll know. Yeah, but it just felt like that kind of big scale number.
It kind of got my heart rate up a little bit. I was like,
it was great. Yeah, it was fantastic.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that one's on there. We'll have the list complete by the final.
We'll each make our own individual independent lists because obviously, like the buzzing from the bathroom is. I've listened to that song maybe 15 times. Tim's "Buzzing from the Bathroom" song is one of my favorite songs from the show.
We should definitely get the top 5, not in the next episode, but
as we wrap up. Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we'll do it.
We'll do it something with
the
it.
concert one, or
something, right? Or its own video, maybe.
Yeah, it'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. But yeah, we've basically got a finale left, don't we?
Yeah. A finale and a stage musical.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, a lot to decide at the end. And I'm not a betting person, and again, right? Yeah. This show has been great all the way through. It's subverting expectations, but I would be really surprised if she either didn't say, if the natural chemistry she has with Greg didn't shine through, because they did a Greg date there, which is let's just hang out and be together, right? which felt the most natural by far.
Yeah.
Or she says, I don't feel like I need to pick any one of you three right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's okay, and that would be completely okay by me.
She did. The only person that she even showed any like signaling to of like yes was Josh.
Yeah.
She snuggled up to him.
Right.
Nathaniel, she danced them, the crunchy bass tunes, and like she had her leg up and had like, a nice drone shot moment. And then with Nathaniel, or not Nathaniel, I'm sorry, with Greg at the very end when he was like, "You love my life," she's like, "Well, I know that now."
Yeah.
It wasn't, "I love you too." It was just, "I know that now." And there were sweet moments with Nathaniel and Greg, but the only moment where she actually like kind of embraced the other person was with Josh. She did kiss Nathaniel.
Yeah, I was gonna say I felt like she was kind of at the same place at the end of all three.
You think?
They were just wildly different dates.
They were.
With Josh. I mean, the reason that she snuggled up with Josh is Josh took her into a tent on pillows and snuggled with her. I think if Nathaniel would have thrown pillows down, she would have done the same thing. I think if Greg's date would have ended up throwing pillows down, it would have been the same thing.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that from Rebecca's standpoint. You know, she has complete autonomy and she's free to make her absolute own decisions. And there's not.
I think she has no idea.
Right. I think she has exactly. I think she has no idea. And like I said, I don't feel like she needs to. You know,
That's fine.
That's just my notion. I could be wrong.
No,
and I won't be disappointed if she does say, you know what, I've gone through it all, and my heart tells me I should be with this person, and we're gonna try it. You know, this idea of Hollywood stories that end with "and they lived happily ever after" is crap, right?
Yeah.
How many stories, movies, television shows end with "I kiss you"? It's over, right? The first time we kiss, I realized it was you all along. Like we had that episode. They kiss, and it's like, and that's it. And it's like, that's not it. They're fighting in 3 weeks because that's what people do.
Yeah.
Do they get through that? All of that. So I don't think even if she does pick one of these guys, that necessarily means forever, right? It's just starting a relationship where anything happens.
They could definitely introduce like a new character in the last episode.
It wouldn't even bother me, right?
That's her new boyfriend. That's how the show.
There's
somebody completely different.
So many things that could happen at the end. But yeah, I very much look forward to it, and it's bittersweet, obviously, because it's gonna be sad when it's over.
I'm gonna be so bummed out when the show's over, guys.
Definitely. So yeah, very soonly we're gonna attempt
Good Place.
The Good Place.
We'll see if NBC
what we'll do is we'll shoot it, we'll edit it, we'll stick it up, and if it gets past, that's our show.
Yep.
If not, we'll throw something else up.
Yeah, if maybe send us some suggestions just in case.
Please.
Yeah, send us some suggestions. That way we're not just scrambling last minute.
Something good to replace this show.
Same vein.
Right.
It doesn't have to be musical, just same vein. Obviously, The Good Place. A lot of you suggested that. That's a light tone, I'm assuming.
Right. Yeah. We don't. The reason we'll say that is we don't want to end up doing 8 shows a week, and it's like all hard hitting dramas or all sitcoms.
Yeah.
We try to keep it. We do all good shows, right? We do prestige shows, but prestige shows run the whole gamut of genres, and we want to kind of keep a fair mix for our sanity and for the viewers.
Like when we broached The Wire, you guys were excited for us to do The Wire, which we will do when we replace a dramatic show.
Exactly.
So just trying to keep it the same wheelhouse.
Really good, strong possibility because of the level of respect that show has for when we're done with Mad Men, right?
Mad Men. Yeah,
it would be a good show to replace Mad Men.
Right.
It's a possibility, right? Yeah. All right, but we've rambled long enough here. We love this show. We're going to miss this show. And I'm really glad you stayed along with us on this ride because a lot of you love the show as much as we do. So
one of our first ones.
Really was, wasn't it? Right when we started. All right, we'll catch you in the next one, guys.